I don't remember the first piece of Staffordshire figurine I've collected, but I do have quite a few and have been doing it over the years. I don't know what it is about them that really attracts me. I mean, they are from England, which I love, but they're a type of sort of folk art that was, it was originally created in the 1700s, but the ones I collect are from the 1800s, from the time of Queen Victoria. And they have, as I said, a folk art appeal to them because they were mass-produced, cheaply created for the working man population that could afford them. So I just love them. They often, this is a Scottish Highland. He has his bagpipes and his faithful dog. And as you'll see on the back of the piece, it's very plain. This actually has a little bit of painting, but most of them have no painting, no coloration on the back. And that's because they were designed to be on the mantelpiece. No one would ever see the back. So what would be the point in putting the money and effort into painting the back? This is a larger piece. Again, look at the back, very plain. And this is called a spill vase. Now, that's not to put flowers in, but to put spills. So a spill is a twisted piece of paper that you would use to light a candle or a pipe. And you would twist up the papers and you would store them here in the spill vase. This one is called, it says dog tray. And that's because this man's dog is named Tray. And there was a ballad written in the 1800s called something like My Dog Tray. And it just shows the faithfulness. You can just see how the little dog is looking up at his master. And so there's that bond and that friendship between the animal and his master. This is a smaller piece. Often, because this was during the time of Queen Victoria, the figurines would be sort of the children, representing the many children of Queen Victoria. I don't know if this particular one is, but they are harvesters. So they each have like a little basket with the produce, and the rabbits are representing like the fecundity or the fruitfulness of the harvest. Here's some more of my collection of the Staffordshire figurines. This one is St. George slaying the dragon. And now that I think about it, this might be my very first one that I found. I just love the sheep. This is called frit. It has a texture to it. And again, as we saw in the other one, the Scottish Highland, this is a Scottish Highland girl. And Queen Victoria loved Scotland and her beloved castle, Balmoral. So maybe one day, because this would be a pair, a pair for the mantle. And on this side would be the sheep with the boy to match the girl. So one day maybe I'll find that one. here's just a couple enjoying themselves. I feel like might be an older piece. It's very delicately painted, has a very fine glaze on it. I'm not sure, I haven't looked it up, but they're enjoying themselves. And this is another couple showing the harvest. See, they're holding the sheaves of wheat. This one was given to me by a woman. She was an American who lived in England. I was staying at her bed and breakfast, and we just hit it right off. And so she gave me this piece. Sadly, later on, they made it safely back home, but later on it got broken. But I've glued him back together. So he is a very cherished piece and a reminder. Almost all of these, let's say half of them I've gotten in England and half I've gotten here. And so they're reminders of my trips. Here's another spill vase to put the twisted paper in. They look like they're just taking it easy. Maybe they have been harvesting and now they're tired. This is a rather large piece. He is a musician, and this might have been a part of a set where there would have been other musicians. And she is holding a parrot. A parrot is often a symbol or represented in these Staffordshire pieces, but it was a symbol of affluency and exoticism. The middle and mostly the upper class people were starting to have parrots as pets. So if you showed that you had a parrot, you would be well off. And this is a little Staffordshire house, or a little cottage. I have a collection of these upstairs. I'll show you the rest of them later, but they're very idealized little homes. I love the colors on this. And, you know, if you're interested in collecting them, you know, the prices vary widely. I've gotten all of mine very well priced, but it's just really looking for them, looking for those deals. And sometimes people sell these and they don't realize how old they are. They might think they're just like, you know, from the 60s or something. This is my collection of Staffordshire dogs. Trying to remember, so this pair, the big ones, I brought back from England and, you know, wrapped them up and had them on the carry-on bag just to be careful with them. I was in a shop and I'd been looking, you know, for a couple of days for some. And they were always out of my price range, but then way up on a shelf, I found these and they were a steal and I love them. Now, why is it that there are so many of these spaniels? They're called King Charles spaniels because King Charles actually liked these spaniels, but also Queen Victoria really favored them. So they were her favorite dog of the time. This pair I found here in Virginia not long ago. They're sitting on a little plinth, and I just love the coloration, the black and white and the blue. Now I'm going to show you some fake Staffordshire dogs. Here we go. This is what you have to be on the lookout And if you get them very, very cheap, you know, you may want to get them, but they're not English. They're Chinese reproductions. They're much more crude, and yet I still like them. If these were real English Staffordshire, especially the ones that are holding a little basket in their mouth, they're very valuable. I've only seen them once at a shop, but I'm happy, and it doesn't bother me that these are reproductions, as long as you know and are not paying the price for real ones. So there's a bit of a coincidence here in this picture. Long, long ago, I found this painting at a garage sale, and I've had it for decades now, and there was one point I didn't like it. I don't know, I think it was the Christmas cactus or something seemed sparser, but it's actually well done painting. And then I don't know why it took me so long to notice this, because this was before I started collecting the Staffordshire figurines, is guess what? In the painting, there's a Staffordshire figurine. Wow, I'll have to find that particular one. That would be great, and then he could sit beneath it. But instead, I have my cows. So these are two big spill vases. And again, it's that pastoral feeling that a lot of the Victorian people that were getting these were living in maybe industrialized cities. And this was kind of like a reminder of the idealized life in the country. See the back? Very plain. Well, it has a texture, but it's still not colored. And I was looking for two cows that were looking at each other, but I didn't find one so far. And so they're both looking in the same direction, and this little dairy maid is milking the cow. There's the bucket. These are a pair of recumbent lions. They're on their plinth. I've looked them up. There are real ones from the Victorian times, but I don't know. I don't feel like these are real. I think they're reproductions. I'm not sure. It has like a sticker on the bottom, and the Victorian ones never had stickers. Maybe somebody put a sticker on later, but I just feel like it's a reproduction. I found them. I've got the pair. Whoops. And I found them at Goodwill. So I couldn't pass them up. I still like them, being a Leo, of course. These are the miniature Staffordshire houses that I've started collecting just a couple of years ago. And this is the largest one that I have. I love the pink and green, and it has that textured fringe on the roof line. I'm standing in my bathtub. And here are some cute little ones. Here's another one. This has a hole right there in the back. I'm not sure if this was a bank at one time or not. And then I have just a few of the little sheep. Again, they have that frit texture. texture to them. These two large Staffordshire pieces are in my bedroom under this beautiful needlepoint picture. It's actually a replica of a painting, but I can't remember what it is. This one is based on historical figures. This is Bonnie Prince Charlie and Flora MacDonald. And apparently he was involved in an uprising, and I can't remember which one it was, but she helped him escape. So there they are. And it has like a little clock face here. In some of the Staffordshire figures, you'll find a hole where someone would actually put, hang their pocket watch. This one with the couple are sitting under an arbor of strawberries. When I found this in the antique shop, it was very strange because I'd never seen one before. And I found 3 in the same shop, but by different dealers. And they were all different prices. And I realized some had very little paint left on them. One was almost entirely white. So I paid a little extra to have this one. And this would have represented Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. This is my latest find, actually 2 days ago. And it is a bank. Has a few coins. There's no hole to get them out, but when I shook, I was able to get some pennies out. I was hoping for some British coins, and on the bottom, it says Staffordshire and England, and I'm pretty confident that it is an old piece and pretty valuable, and I found him for a song, so he's very cute. My last one for the edition. So if you've been watching this whole video and can count how many pieces of Staffordshire I have, I'd love to know because I've never counted. And write it in the comments. Thank you. I hope you learned a little bit about Staffordshire figurines today. Wishing you well from Wren House.